quiz is garbage. No way. Ooh, this guy thinks he's Captain Knots. Thinks he's Captain Tying Knots. When everyone needs some knots tied, they go to him.
Rock and roll is very simple. Just 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is rock and roll. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Välkommen till livestreamen.
Hello. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Should be kind of a fun one, just doing some improvising, answering some questions and stuff. We'll see how obnoxious it gets with the, there's a country music cover band jamming out behind us. So, or that way, I don't know, out there somewhere. So we'll see how obnoxious it gets. Last time this band played around here, there were drunk people walking in, peeing on the the fence behind us, and trying to like walk around to the porch. So could be interesting. But first of all, thank you guys for those that showed Jason some support on Saturday. That was a lot of fun, and he had a great time. So we're definitely going to have him back to do. We kind of went over, I guess you could call the 4 chapters of guitar setup. So it's just like what you need, the tools and stuff, intonation, the bridge, and the truss rod stuff. So Jen is uploading like 4 chapters of it. It's got Jason's info too if you want him to do some guitar work, or have some questions or anything like that. You can hit him up on Facebook too, he said. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Looking forward to some more, and I think having some, Jen and I have been talking, we're gonna figure out some ways of getting some other guests on here for some other specialized things. But yeah, you can donate to ASEAN still, get a free lesson. You can check out all the sponsors. They're really cool. Swiss Picks, Limitless Cables, Resistance Publishing, Dissonant Harmony Podcast, myself, Huntley Guitar Lessons, all cool sponsors. Okay, so I'm just, I've got some backing tracks. Again, these backing tracks are from Elevated Jam Tracks for YouTube. Someone recommended these for when we did this last one, and I didn't get through any of them hardly, so let's use some of them. I'm just gonna kind of warm up and jump into something. I don't know what any of these sound like, but I'm just gonna noodle around for a second, get out of teaching brain into, well, I guess I'm still kind of teaching, but just get my fingers warmed up a little bit more. And yeah, anyone has questions? These are kind of like my office hours, right? Oh, drums are getting close to being finished for my album, so that's cool. It's not cool because I need a bass player. Things happened. How long is this gonna be? I think I should be quieter. Yeah, that's not dumb. The how do you solo? It's a big question, but for the let's just focus it in on improv because I think that's probably. I mean, obviously, from a technical standpoint, you could take some little melodies and stuff like that from songs you like and start learning those. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you could obviously learn little solos and stuff like that, but as far as understanding how to solo and how to make up your own stuff and be creative and apply the stuff that you know, it's kind of awkward because you have to kind of just go for it. You know, throw yourself in front of the bus kind of thing. There's a lot of okay, so I'll say this. So learning how to solo is very different than learning how to play, in the sense that you're like improvising, you're training your brain to solve problems in the moment, and then the other stuff you're like perfecting it over time. So anyway, if we're improvising, it's really great for your brain because you work various parts of it all at once and get better at applying the stuff. So for one, don't be afraid to have cheat sheets. So if you want something with like a chart so you don't forget what notes you're playing in the scale, if you I guess there's going to be an ad starting. I don't know if you're a sub or not, so I don't want to get you cut off. Let's pick a good one to start. Give you a demonstration of it. This one sounds kind of cool. All right. So, as far as improvising goes, you might want to check out some of the last stream we did, not the one with Jason, but the one before that. Vocal mic's very low. Okay. There's all kinds of stuff that happened to this. That's probably better. Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate it. How you doing tonight? So yeah, so like, if you might want to check out the stream that we did before, the guitar repair one or guitar setup one, where we started playing around with some of these ideas. But it's basically just kind of you need to just kind of go for it and not be afraid of making mistakes. Start simple. You don't need to do a lot with it. So when we started in the last one. Now you can get ridiculously analytical with this and know every chord that's being played and every chord tone that you could resolve on and all that kind of stuff, but that's not the point right now. If we were to take this track that we're dealing with, I'm just going to find a few notes that we can use that'll sound good. Yeah, I appreciate that. The point is just to come up with little phrases that you can build from. Most of the time when you're playing, and like really anything, it comes down to motifs in music, and you've got note choice motifs where you repeat the same note a bunch and then use that as your starting point, or you can use rhythms. So the like Beethoven thing. That rhythm keeps repeating throughout the entire thing. And so like tying things together like that makes a big difference in like creating hooks. So I would start with doing some stuff like that. Like don't worry about speed and technique and stuff, because especially if you're trying, at first a lot of times people end up sounding like they're practicing scales over it, right? Like that's super lame. gotta put some variation in there. So as far as coming up with a theme, let's come up with something for this right now. You know what? Just to make this easier, let's only I don't know exactly what level you are at, but 1, 2, 3. But I'll lit myself to just the first pentatonic shape. So in this case, we're in D minor. So it's starting on the 10th fret, and you have 2 notes per string. So fret-wise, 10, 13 for the 6th string, then 10, 12 for the next 3, 10, 13 for the last 2. Yeah, so we're just gonna use that one shape. So I might cheat though, because a lot of times I want to play something outside of that. But if we're using just that, I'm gonna come up with just a few notes that sound good, and then kind of repeat, like show you how you can come back to it. So. So I'm just going to start with those 2. And that's going to be my motif. So I'm relying on the note choice, and I'll play the rhythms similarly too. Let me check out the waveform. So as I go back, let's go back. Yeah, every time I would play that phrase, those 2 notes, then whatever the hell I want. Did it lie? I forgot your stuff. No worries, buddy. How are you doing today? Dude, I'm waiting for the moment that that happens to me, where I can't get back into like OBS or something. I forget my shit way too frequently. Yeah, that's I've been hiding inside. I'm lucky that my dog is a lazy bum, and I don't have to go for walks a lot if I don't want to. Yeah, we're just gonna take those 2 notes and use those as the motif. Do it over this heavier part here. Who else is here? Jen's around. 1, 2, 3 is around. Who was that told me I was quiet? Jerry. A lot of TV lurkers, it looks like. If you're watching on your TV, identify yourself. So yeah, I did add some faster stuff, but like I said, I kept in that shape, right? And those 2 notes is like they are what. Let's see if I can actually talk. Those 2 notes are what are unifying everything. Man, I feel bad for those people that are at that stupid concert thing that's happening outside. You're gonna get a bunch of heat stroke. And it's all people from the retirement community that's around here. Yeah, gonna get really rusty. Yeah, but I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel like when I get rusty, it's like I just get tired quicker, and then I need to kind of get my endurance back. Jen and I are actually thinking about doing a pretty cool cover of a song, and if we do that, Jen's gonna have to practice a bit. Mwahaha. Alright. I need to turn the gate up. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's a short and sweet song, right? One of my favorite bands too. The other thing that I should have pointed out too. So the motifs are super important because they unify everything, give you a hook and stuff like that. Most of the time, people end up having like an issue where they think they have a bunch of shitty ideas, but in reality, they have too many good ideas, and they're just kind of jumping around all over the place. So that I just wanted to clarify that. But then the thing I should have brought up is the most important part or thing to focus on, I think, is the ending. Motif. A motif is a fancy word in music for just a theme. So the motif would be either note choice or rhythm based, and most of the time it's some sort of combination of both. What's an example? Surfing with the Alien, the Joe Satriani kind of classic song, right? I'll just play this real quick to kind of show it off. But the melody is just a little pentatonic. Actually, it's in, I think, the same key we were just doing. But the motif is going. He just repeats that and then does variations in between. So that motif, that little theme. Yeah, repeating, and it's small. It's small. Jesus, they're small. So in the case of like, here, let's go back to the one. For this motif, I'm only gonna do 2 notes. So let's just say I'm gonna start with that. Yeah, a schmackle woman. What was that quote he had that was so funny? Or he's like, I don't advocate for smacking women, but sometimes they deserve it. Or something like that. So I'm just going to use 2 notes. Oh, it totally sounds like Bill Burr. He definitely had that bit too. With the Sean Connery one, I think got him in trouble because it was just with like a morning news interview or something. Yeah, the Bill Burr is hilarious. But like anything that can unify something is a good idea. So if we just did a new one. Yeah, just some little thing to grab their attention. So like I said, the thing that happens to a lot of people is they have too many ideas, and they don't like develop them enough for like the listener to kind of grab onto it, right? So if you focus on the end of yeah, that's hilarious. I was gonna say, so like, if you focus on the endings of your ideas and how you're resolving them, it helps a great amount. So even if you just choose a note, and like we're in the key of D minor right now, so a D note probably is a good one to end on. It gives you something to kind of focus on, and lets you like kind of work on your approach. There's if like for me, like when I had a bunch of ideas and stuff, it was like kind of like run-on sentences that never stopped. So if you have some sort of way of like punctuating things, it makes it easier. So I'll make something up. And it's okay to play one thing for a long time. Like you can, maybe I could play that up an octave then. Oh, I thought it was ending there. Okay, so we've got this one kind of stuck in our heads now. At least I do. So let's do another one. And we'll make up a new motif. What are you? I don't know what any of these are, so we'll see. These are just backing tracks. Actually, you can find all of these, and they give you all of the chords. If anyone's like elevated jam tracks on YouTube, it's just the one that was recommended the last time I did a stream like this, and they're good. But they'll actually give you a full fretboard chart of the key you're in, tonality you're in, and the chords and stuff like that. Elevated jam tracks. There are definitely some weird ones, but as far as backing tracks go, I was talking to a student actually right before I started the stream, and I'm so jealous of this stuff because like I spent like, I don't even know, I probably spent like $2,000-3,000 on like backing tracks and CDs and stuff like that to do this with, and now you have YouTube, and they're better. There's nothing more disappointing than waiting for a backing track CD that it shows up and it's just lame as hell. But yeah, let's make a little theme out of this. So this is in the key of G sharp minor. Yeah, I sound like an old person, don't I? I've been complaining more and more. My back hurts. Dude, at least you're like, I know what you're saying. I've said some really stupid things texting due to my fat fingers. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys know who Ben Johnson is. Damon, maybe you might. He used to play keyboards in a band. But he was a pharmacist as his day job, and the old people complaints were always he got like people waving canes at him and stuff like that. But yeah, I see I'm complaining about all that and complaining about the country music that's playing outside. What are you up to, Lance? How have you been? This is a good one. That little thing I was just doing there will work well as a motif example. No, same people like country music. That's just. I'm not gonna argue with that for the most part. All right. So the motif here is gonna be 3 notes. I will say it depends on what I don't consider the stuff that's happening outside to actually be country, because it's all that pop country bullshit that's, I guess, kind of popular now. I don't really know. It doesn't sound like country even to me. Country rap, interesting. I don't know if I know that name. I'll give anything a chance. Alright, so let's do this little thing. Do you guys ever have certain chords, or certain sounds or whatever, just remind you of something like a completely different song and kind of ruin it? Just curious. Nice. He's one of those guys who's just good at everything. Yeah, every once in a while you'll meet like sometimes it's like they're just amazing at music, but like those people that are like amazing at photography and artwork and music and everything. Like I don't know, there's a few people like that I don't need to start name dropping, but there's a few guys that like do everything for their albums, and it's just all looks like top notch. You know, all the artwork, all the photography, all the music, all the production. That's a big thing. There's a ton of players that people can play really well, but can't produce, or the other way around. So many things to practice. FFS is a legitimate syndrome. I understand. Actually, I want to look this up right now. Yeah, Jason's production is really good. No, not Mix Wave. Oh, that's his. He has a signature plugin, I guess. I don't need to waste. I'm. Let's get more specific. I'm very curious who did this then. The places that he records always looks somewhat familiar. Oh, this is not what I want. I'll look more later. In your educated opinion. Where does it break the line of being too much? That's a really good question. You know, honestly, I feel like you can make any speed in terms of rhythm work depending on what you're applying. Okay, so like for me, when things don't work well, it tends to be maybe like the wrong technique, you know? So like, let's find a spot. Okay, so right here we've got a progression of so if we were soloing over this, I'm just gonna kind of try and give a demo of what I mean. If I were playing over these chords with like scale stuff and just playing really fast, right? So I'll play at the same speed when I change techniques, but it'll feel different. So if I'm just gonna pick everything, I just go like, just keep going like that, it gets a little bit exhausting. But if I were doing stuff that was following the chords more and paying more attention to the note choice, I think you could make that work really well. So you could have that same speed, but not just like sounding like a scale on top of things. You could follow the chords more. Let's see. Like we're doing, actually I want to do it this way. Let me think about this real quick. Like if I were to use an arpeggio, like something like that, right? Can't hit the right notes right now, Jesus. Just trying to give you an example, something better. So, you can, like the speed is, it's kind of like it depends on what you're playing over. I think it has to do with, let's say, I'm gonna try and like boil this down to the important parts. So I would do things that don't butt heads with what's going on in the other instruments. So if the other instruments are kind of busy or something like that, maybe you want to do it in a different way. So pay attention to the rhythms of the other stuff and the notes of the other stuff, so things aren't clashing, like everything in the same pitch range. Alternating techniques, changing the sequence, all kinds of things that add variation, keep it interesting. You know, breaking it up a little bit. So like the really, we'll call them like the shredder guys, right? They'll still have a musical phrase at its core. It's not just an exercise. So yeah, let's just try a totally new one. Let's do I don't know, something maybe a little bit more. Nope. Don't want that one. B. So yeah, so like in this sense right here, I probably wouldn't be going like, right? The big thing I think is like you need to let things breathe, and like we were talking about having punctuation, right? So if you have you can have all like the coolest, fastest ideas ever, but if they don't repeat, or not repeat, but if they don't have if there's something to lock in with, it can be pedal runs for sure. Yeah, then like right there with that one, I like that fast run because it had some duplicate notes and some pedals and. Like anything repetitive, right? So like we have most of the time you're gonna like, even if you're doing fast stuff, you're gonna still have some punctuation, and it doesn't have to be long, right? So I'll play some fast shit and I'll put little breaks in there to kind of show what I mean. You know, and like, let's just take a look at it this way. Like when you're playing, let's put it over this. Let's go back to the beginning of this. That's very nice. here, the more you focus on the chord tones, the easier just to like lock in with stuff even at faster speeds. So like in this case, this is like an F minor. And even if I'm ripping through those, it'll still probably feel a little bit more musical than just doing scales. Yes, making someone change the song. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of very bad, like instrumental shred guitar players. Not players, like bad music. Like, and of course that's subjective, right? But a lot of uninteresting things. Yeah, I mean, like analyzing what I liked helped a bunch, because then I was able to kind of see like what techniques were being used and where things are. Like, yeah, I think like that's why I like guys like Paul Wardingham and Guthrie Govan, Andy James, Rick Graham. There's a lot of really cool players out there that play super fast stuff, but yeah, it sounds musical, right? And like I said, like you can analyze things in a lot of different ways. You don't have to be like super crazy with the analysis. So like for I don't know, like in Ghost of the Machine that I've been playing around with, the motif of that. Here, let's go to it. I'll play the chorus. This is a really good example of a motif. It's one of the, because this gets stuck in your head, right? Separate scales from sounding practiced. So I think like the musical thing comes down to being effective in that situation, and like as far as like you don't want it to sound like you're practicing like a scale over a song that's, you know, in the background, right? So like I said, the musical thing, it definitely comes down to some like the note choice and stuff like that. But like the way that so when you're playing, when I'm improvising and I come across, let's pick one. That's good. This one we were just doing. So if we were improvising, I think there's a couple things that would help most people right away. So for one is to start thinking about steps and leaps and how you're using them. And this is like just kind of a surface level. You don't have to think about intervals and scale degrees and that kind of shit necessarily. But if you're playing take a scale shape and kind of analyze what you're doing. If you're playing a lot of stuff, a lot of times when things kind of sound like quote unquote beginner-ish, it's because there's a lot of stuff going in order. So if I'm playing like this note, and I went and this note, I'm gonna play like kind of everything in order rather than something like that, which sounds a little bit cooler, right? So if we had like something like So leaps are when you skip at least a note, and steps are when you play stuff in order in your key. The other thing I think like we were talking about, the punctuation is super important. The confidence, right? So like if like I'm real close with the Ghost in the Machine, but if I were to go back a few weeks when I wasn't, I could play the notes, but it didn't sound as confident, right? Like we've talked a bit about this, like when playing the same notes, but it doesn't quite sound the same kind of thing. But I think what happens when you think about in your improvising, you're thinking about all of the things you know about music in a way, and that's like the problem-solving thing I was bringing up at the beginning. But what you want to try and do is narrow what your brain is searching through, so you're not going all over the place with all these like crazy potential ideas that you don't want to waste energy on things that you don't need, right? So if we're playing like this isn't super happy, and I probably wouldn't want to have a super happy feel for this, so I'm not going to be thinking about things that would create that sound. I'm just going to be okay, so I think people in general are just good at like figuring out what they want, and it doesn't necessarily mean they know what it's going to be right away. But if we were to take this, I'm going to say I want to have let's see. Let's say I want to start with some really like sad sounding phrases. I might just pick a couple notes. I don't know if you guys can hear this. It's driving me crazy. Can you hear that squeak? I don't know if you can. If you can't, that's awesome. But there's that F note that I'm starting my idea on is making the springs in the back squeak. Okay, good. It's driving me crazy in the room right now. I just hear like but yeah, so if we took So I like the note choice of that, and then, like I said, I'm shooting for something kind of sad. Let's make that like sadder, maybe some more vocal type expression. Just spray WD-40 right in there. And people at the at the guitar setup stream were kind of surprised about the lighter fluid trick. I remember the first time I saw someone use lighter fluid on the guitar, I thought they were crazy, but it does work. Alright, so I'm gonna, in my opinion, to make this more vocal, more expressive, let's add some bends and vibrato and stuff. Because, like, you can literally, you need to start with what's manageable, and if it's manageable just to hit the notes, that's totally cool, you know? It's really stale. Oh, so if you did miss, yeah, no worries, dude. If you missed it, I don't know if it's up on YouTube yet. Maybe Jen, if she's around in the chat, she can pop in and say. But the stream kind of got divided up into 4 parts. So the first part was just you talked a bit about like what he uses to do this, like the repairs and stuff. Yeah, a little different trick than the Hendrix one, but it's up already. Cool. Yeah, so the lighter fluid thing is it's just like it's a way of it's like using it as a cleaner, but it can like potentially really dry out the wood if you use it wrong and stuff. Okay, but he had a specific one. I'll actually have to watch it back to remember which brand or whatever he was saying. But yeah, they're up. Jen split them up. So there's. How'd you split them up? Did you do 4 of them? there's 4 parts that we ended up talking about. So it's like the tools and stuff that he uses, the truss rod adjustments, which are basically when you need to adjust something 1st fret to the 12th fret, the bridge, which is adjusting the like more the higher end, and then the intonation. So yeah, if there's a specific part you're looking for, it's kind of divided up into there with random questions here and there. Well, thank you. You're the best, Jen. So let's make this more expressive. There are 4 parts. Cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I figured to divide it up. There's some random stuff in there from just questions and everything, but all right, let's add these bends in here now. So like right there, even like that's really slow, right? So we might want to. Little embellishments and stuff. There's a whole. We might want to do a stream on some of the non-chord tone kind of stuff. Little dorkier things. We can do a special stream on the dorky stuff. But as far as like building this, let's take that as our core idea, and I'm gonna put variations but not change the core idea. Now I want to change it up. See, it's hard to. I think the hard part about improvising is it is very, very easy just to keep going and not focus in. So I was, trying to show an example and draw attention to it, and I just keep going. But if you this all kind of started with the how do you solo kind of thing, right? Motifs and your endings are the things that I would focus on. On top of that, you can focus on either avoiding certain things. Like I've used the example of making fun of myself where I played the same kind of thing over and over again, and just kind of lame. So I wasn't allowed to play that stuff. Bunch of restrictions like we talked about in another stream. But the what was it? I lost my train of thought. I heard the music out there. What was I gonna say? The motifs, the ending, like the resolutions. Oh, and you can always like either restrict yourself or give yourself like kind of a restriction, I guess, but where you only like you're trying to apply a specific thing, like an etude, etude, is basically a little song written for a specific technique. You could totally do something like that. So like if we had this, let's say we wanted to work on triplet rhythms. Triplet. Right? So I could take this and do like a... So what you're playing isn't hard to do, but so what does it take right now? Yeah, not hard from a tech. I see. The thing is, like, yeah, it's difficult in the sense that, like, mentally it is, for sure. It's a lot to think about, and it's a different way of thinking about it. So, as far as, like, the big categories, or what I would be focusing on when trying to do this, let me think about this. So for one, like the stuff I just said for sure about the motifs, so rhythm, note choice kind of things, or little themes, your conclusions, so the resolutions and everything. But as far as like the process, I think that just, like, honestly starting with like starting simple and, like, for one, just going for it, because if you don't, like, don't stop and correct things that much. Just try and maybe loop that section or whatever and keep going, but try and don't be afraid to build on an idea. Sometimes it takes a while to really get your idea out, and that's really what we're trying to do, right? Because you have good you have a lot of good ideas, and sometimes your fingers don't actually, like, listen, right? So if we went through, like I said, start really simple. So let's go to let's do something totally different. So it's a new melody. That's a. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna play 3 notes. I'm gonna limit myself right now to 3 notes because honestly, like, Wicked, I know if you were to take, like, a really small motif like this, and then you could do whatever the hell you want in between. So let me just show you. So if we took. So you doing this? Oh yeah, for sure. So just taking those 3 notes. It would be really lame if I just repeated it over and over and over again, but if I do that, like, every couple chords, so I'm not gonna put the variations in quite yet. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is hit that little theme, quote unquote. Whatever I want in this empty space. And then whatever I want. So now let's make that more interesting, right? So if you start with that foundation and you have something concrete that you can fall back on, especially something that you like and sounds good, you can really do anything you want in between there. So you could work on applying fast stuff. You could work on applying bends or slides, or don't even worry about something specific. Just go for it, right? So we could have, like... have to be a lot. Let's get. That is a lame mix on that one. Yeah, it's you can do this in a lot of different like variations, but it's almost like if you think about like the motif as a singer, you know, they don't tend to use a ton of different notes, and so the returning concept can be based on notes, or like a scale pattern or something like that, or it can just be based on the rhythm. So the rhythm can be really cool when the chords are changing. Let's see what this chord progression is. So like with that sort of thing, you gotta. So if I were to do. So that 1, 2, 3 interval wise. Right? It's that phrase, and like it could like here. Let's simplify this even more. This is gonna. Let's see. What do we have? Okay, so if we have like this. So this is gonna be my rhythm that I'm gonna do. So obviously that's pretty lame by itself, but if we change our notes, right, it starts getting a little bit more, a little cooler. But it's a really nice, and like I said, the endings of your ideas are really where it falls apart for most people. So it can be a really good, it's a good idea to focus on like one or the other. So like the motifs, it tends to be what you start your idea with, and like the reoccurring theme tends to be the start. So then it can be like you plan out just the start and the end, or you plan very little. I'd be curious how they play around with it, and I'd love to hear like how it's going, because this is always interesting to me how people's brains work differently with the improv thing. Because there's certain people that are more analytical, certain people that are more like, if they get analytical, they overthink it and stuff. So yeah, I'd be curious. But start simple. You know, it doesn't have to be happy Van Halen sounds. Okay, so here's gonna be my 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's gonna be my rhythm right here. So 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so you could just, start the song. Note. Just put notes to it. We're gonna go back to that. This is the next part. my theme right here. So let's when you do this, you want to I would figure out how frequently you want it at first, and have something concrete to build off of. Then when you get more comfortable, just fucking go for it. But let's go back right. So let's see. We can do it like this. Let's do that like spread out. So the spread out version, I tend to prefer myself more, unless it's more of a background part. So I'll just kind of show you what I mean. I'll do this one. Right, something like that. But I could do it more frequently. But don't be afraid of the variations. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but generally speaking, as far as variations go, you'll have your main idea, and then you'll put a little variation on it. You go back to it. So idea A, idea B, idea A again, and then idea C, something like that. So with what I was just playing there, this could be idea A. Idea B could be, there's a slight difference. Back to the, and then something like that. That sounds like a Christmas song. Oh boy, let's redeem that. Here. I'll use the Ghost in the Machine as the example. I need to rehearse this again. What I'm gonna do, we'll see how I do back on the 7-string for the song. Okay, I'm gonna play, try and pay attention for the motifs as they come. They can be in any instrument, right? So even the rhythm part, you know how the rhythms are repeating, repetitive notes. It's only 2 notes for that part, right? So the big thing as far as what repeats, you have the motifs happening as far as themes for various parts of the song, but then there's different techniques that that'll use. Yeah, it can kind of jump all over the place. But the theme could be anything. And it's just kind of if you're like most people, when you start, you learn a lot of open chords. And these chords where you have your ring finger and pinky hanging out there, they sound good together because there's something in common. I mean, they're all in the same key and everything, but they wouldn't sound as, cohesive, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm tired. chorus especially. A little relaxed, but scary. There's one fret off, but that part's so weird and robot-y, it doesn't matter. Let's see if I can do the ending at all. Smoke on the water. I blew it. See, there's always like, it's fairly good, and then that fucking ending, man. I always second guess this part. Yeah, Smoke on the Water, right? Play Smoke on the Water and like drop G or something. Yeah, just go for it, right? Yeah, I mean, really, the that's a big part of it. The worst thing you can do if you're trying to improvise and get better at soloing and stuff like that is like not let yourself actually go for it. You know, like, you're improvising, you're gonna play wrong notes. It's gonna happen. So don't like constantly worry about correcting yourself. Where like think of it more as like, you know, getting more control rather than. I mean, it's if you're trying to play the perfect phrase every time, it's, you know, it's not gonna happen. But if you were to do like, I don't know, let's see what this one is. Start with something, you know, kind of more basic. Oh, thanks, dude. Here, I won't even use the pick for this. Who is the, I don't, do any of you guys know, there's a guitar player who, I don't know, I want to say he's probably like in his maybe 50 or something like that. I don't, I could, who cares about the age? But he decided he needed to restart something in his playing, or kickstart it in a different way. And see, I just picked it up just to do that. So he to make himself think differently, he just completely doesn't use a pick anymore. It's kind of crazy. I appreciate you calling me out on that. It's the worst. I'm getting better, starting to. But what's fun? Where's this? That's a lame. This is the one thing I will say is a lot of metal backing tracks are pretty lame. I mean, honestly, you can kind of hear a motif right there with that high note. Right? The, so if I were to take that little idea... Yeah, exactly. I'm an idiot. It's like when, I mean, you see me do it all the time when I go to record. It's like, all right, play a G chord or whatever it is, right? And hit record, and then you're like, duh, you know, like, I should know better. So if we were to simplify this right now, you got the... really simple melody, and we could, you know, elaborate on that a ton. So actually, I should elaborate on this, just the like your resolutions, cadences, whatever you want to think of them as. If we're going through this, I'm not going to worry about anything except for one note. Okay, well, I'm going to play all the notes in the key, hopefully, but I'm only gonna worry about hitting one in a specific spot. So, let's say I'm gonna start on the B. So that A note right there is what I want to hit. Let's make a new motif for this part. The this is interesting because the bar sits higher on this one. I was starting to get used to the other one, and now I'm back to this one. I think I like this one better. The bar, the trem on this guitar is just so sweet. Right. So, oh nope, drop it. Let's go with something kind of bluesy, and we're only gonna hit hit that B note as our ending. So whatever I want to do, I'm just gonna play something then end on that B note continually. Ending on B notes. Just pick that one and alright, let's do what? Here, let's just do a jam through this real quick. Is there anything that you guys would like to see demonstrated, like how to apply it? Tapping, arpeggios, sweep picking, something slow phrasing, like a embellishment, suspensions and retardations, or what else could we do? Yes. Let's see, because it really it's I kind of think of, it's good to think about everything all as a group working together, but like thinking about like techniques versus like more mental concepts. Okay, so like making a motif with the sweeps. Let's do it. Okay, so this is a good idea. So a lot of times as guitar players, we get really comfortable with shapes and not really necessarily like breaking them up in different ways, right? So if we were doing this, like a D minor. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Yeah. So as far as let me see what this chord progression actually is. Yeah. So it's D minor, F, D minor right here, F, and then B flat. So the second time it goes down to an A. So the chord progression: D minor, F, B flat, D minor, F, B flat, A. Okay. So as far as like if we're doing like a, let's just say we want to do like fast sweeps using 3 and 5 strings. The pattern that you're doing a lot of times will just be completely repetitive. So let's say we have this is gonna be a slow one, a weird rhythm. So if we have, let's not even worry about the speed for a second. So just map out those. So that's actually here. You don't even have to play them fast, right? I'm gonna do it with some slow ones. Have a great night, Lance. I hope it's always good when you stop by, man. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for your email. It would be awesome to see you. But yeah, have a good night. So I'm gonna do the same rhythm, and I'm gonna do this like just the arpeggio shapes with that. Make it more colorful. So maybe so I'm gonna do that can be kind of cool to do stuff like that where you have the theme, let's do. But yeah, just outlining those, right? So if we did, to show you, like if I do 3 string, 3 string, 5 string. Right, you can do it in different spots. I could do. Oh, keyword. Right. So if we did, or like the Jason Richardson pattern that we were talking about, right? We have to do it going in 3s. But yeah, it doesn't have to be fast to make the theme, so. And like I said, the variation at the end is big. So if we have. something different at the end. And again, starting with the motif, we start really basic. Let's just hit the root notes, right? So we're gonna hit, so D, F, B flat, so, let's do, what was the one that I liked the most? Is it this one is cool? Alright, we're gonna do this one. I'm just gonna play through it and yeah, kind of show, like, do a few of these different examples. So I'll try and keep my eye on the chat if there's something specific that pops up. But yeah, let's do one more. Let's just jam through this, and then if anyone has any questions, happy to answer them, and we'll wrap it up. I'm about ready for bed. Oh, we're not recording. Just play. Did I make an emoji for this little shruggy guy is my favorite. There's if anyone ever was on the Andy Sneap forum, there's a hilarious thread where a guy came in. It was a production forum, right? And this guy comes in and all his question was how do mixed drums? And that little quote inspired like 20, 30 pages of hilarity. It's worth it. That site's probably just an archive at this point. It's just kind of sad. It was like the best spot ever. fucking up notes because I'm trying something that popped in my head. Doesn't work all the time. So see, like, I can play over this pretty well. I'm not very good, like, as far as in comparison to a lot of people. I don't use the bar that often, so that could be one of the things that I try and build a motif on. So let me do that. Just give myself a little bit of a challenge. Gotta get the flutters, right? That would be ridiculous, just have to... That's so stupid. That's kind of a cool little thing. But see, here's a good example of this. That motif I was only using for a second. So the rhythm I just did was the... So and then... Dude, yeah, the Vi stuff, like what, like in the name of God, or for the love of God, whatever. I forget that melody. Is it for the love of God? In the name of God is Dream Theater, right? That's that one. That's a pretty badass song. It's got that like Latin solo section. Yes. Yeah, that's a good thing to work on. So just like, with the metronome thing, right? You start without it, and then when you try and tighten things up with it, I think this is just something I want to bring up just right now, just if you're playing around with stuff. A lot of times you can changing the metronome will make it either easier or harder for you. Not meaning changing the speed necessarily. Well, changing the tempo, but to make it so you can play at the same speed, but make it easier to feel. So like as an example, if it's weird for you to try and like, the more accents you have, it tends to be easier to play. So let's say we were doing an arpeggio and I have like click, click. So if I went, like say I was doing 6 notes and I went click, 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 that's gonna be a little bit harder to lock in with potentially than click, 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 that sort of thing. 15 minutes. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, like you can have, if you have triplets versus 16th notes versus it can make things really weird. So just I just wanted to bring up it because it is okay to change up the metronome to something other than, like, let's say the song is at 150 and you're playing 8th note triplets, but that feels weird. It's okay to change it to something slower and play like 16th note triplets, or whatever makes it easier for you. But yeah, it makes a big difference, right? So like, let me drop this. So like if we have, the other thing that I find very useful, especially if you're new to it, is just having the metronome be consistent. And what you do, this could be like a little rhythm-based warm-up for you. So all you're going to do is we're going to have, I think you guys can hear the click track, right? So right now it's at 120. It doesn't matter what it's at. But if we have 120, like, we can skip around between random groupings of notes. So we could have 8th notes, 8th note triplets, 16th notes, 16th note triplets, quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, dotted whole notes, whatever, right? And so when we have this, let's say I did quarter notes, then 8th notes, triplets, sixteenths. So the thing that's hard to do is going from like, so let's say we did like, I'm gonna do quarter notes, then, I'll do quarter notes, 8th notes, quarter note, 8th note triplets, quarter note, 16th notes. Okay, so I go. It sounds kind of silly, but being able to change between those even on one note helps. Obviously, you could do this with more notes, like. Here, let me show you what I was talking about as well. If we were playing, oh shit. Whatever. If we were. That's like 1/5. Let's see. Right. But that's kind of weird to lock in with. Right here, let's say we had. So if I could lock in with this being quarter notes. Or let's do 8th or quarter triplets, let's say. Or it's weird to jump around like that, so. Alright, I think just for the sake of practice, I'm going to do one more take through the Paul Wardingham Goose song. Just because I'm tired and it'll be good to play it. when I'm like this. Make it easier when I do it for real, right? So appreciate you guys being around, hanging out. Let's do this. So let's see if this is too loud now. Dude, how sick is this guitar that I did all that whammy shit and there no locking nut and it's still perfectly in tune. So nice. The best. Killing me from holding the pick that way. And then I do it right again. Yeah, we're skipping this one. Hey Jen, if you're watching, my dad is calling me. You might want to call him. I gotta get this. I guess if I'm gonna mess up, might as well do the part that sounds crazy. Right now, I was just playing, really. I just wanted to run through it again. My hand is, I'm not being very serious. If I were, just real quick, if I were practicing this seriously right now, what I would be doing is isolating the problem parts. And because my forearm is all fucked up right now, I'm not doing that. But there's two spots where there's like tapping, like that sort of thing. I would just be drilling just that little run. And doing it in different ways, maybe just ascending only. Doing just just like taking little chunks and really burning them. And there's only a couple spots on there that I would need to do that with still. But that and the transitions, at least for this song right now. Yeah. It'll be cool to have this song be on the playing. I mean, everything right now is kind of a challenge with it, I guess, still a little bit. So it's all a little bit, but it'll be cool to be able just to say that it's just playing when I'm doing that. So anyway, hope you guys have a great evening. Anyone do anything cool? Perhaps? Ooh, let's go over... Let's check out this dude. Oop. Let's go to Jay. This guy's a badass. I think we've rated him before. But later, Wicked. Hope you guys all have a great night. We'll just go see what he's up to.